we've covered an awful lot of ground in the last handful of lessons, turning the structure of the minor pentatonic, that bare bones box pattern, adding dynamics, the legato techniques, bending, sliding, vibrato, you know, all different ways of expressing that set of notes. And yet, believe it or not, you probably noticed, we're still staying within a very narrow part of the neck. Essentially one octave with a couple of notes on the bottom end added on just to sort of complete the idea, and a couple of notes on the top end. Right? So a very small amount of real estate, but we're packing each phrase within that area with a lot of content. And that, again, is really what blues is all about. It's not how much you play or how far you go along the neck. It's what you do with the phrases individually, and how much content each note carries. It comes down to the note. All right, now we're going to sort of summarize this whole idea here by coming back to the idea of how to organize phrases in the 12-bar progression. Now we know that the 12-bar consists of 3 4-bar sections, and you got 2 bars on the 1 chord, and then you answer that with another 2 bars on the 1 chord. Then you go to the 4 chord, and then back to the 1 chord, and then the 5 chord, and back to the 1 chord and the turnaround, and so on. And we get the 2 + 2 thing. We've done that quite a bit. When you're playing a solo over a chord progression, and the blues progression is obviously it's more than 1 chord, you've got 2 parallel ideas happening at the same time. One is the tonality, or the key center, and the other one is the harmony. So if I'm in the key of A and I'm playing over the A chord, then the harmony and the key center are the same. When the harmony changes to the 4 chord, D, now the key center is A, but the harmony at the moment is different. It's D. And likewise, when it goes to E, the 5 chord, the key center is still A, but the harmony is different. So the essential concept of soloing over chord changes, this is true, I don't care if you're playing jazz over 100 chords or playing blues over 3 chords, same idea. You're juggling 2 concepts at the same time, tonality and harmony. Now, as we go along and later on in the course, we'll talk about playing over other changes or playing more harmonically oriented phrases. We'll look at different ways of juggling those 2 things. But for right now, our concentration is on the key center. And this is sort of the down-home blues idea, is that you don't get too distracted by the chord changes, but you recognize them, but you're really focusing primarily on the key center. So the way that I can incorporate chord changes, the harmony, into my phrasing, and we've done this a little bit already, is to just think about where the root of the chord is. So if I'm in the key of A, I know A is the root. It's also the center of the tonality. So my phrases tend to circle around that note, right? When the change goes to D, I've still got the A as the center of my tonality, but I can put a little extra emphasis on the D. Just on the downbeat, when the chord change happens, if I hit that note and then just resume my normal A key center type playing, it sounds like I've kind of addressed the chord change. Same thing with the 5 chord. All I got to do is hit E in one way or another when that E chord lands, and I'm playing changes, you know. So it's a way of balancing the key center and the harmony. Essentially, our approach is key center. We're thinking in the key of A, we're playing in the key of A, but we're aware of where we are in the form, and that helps to tell the story. Now I'm going to play you an example of a 2-bar solo that kind of uses all of the stuff that we've been talking about. Now the difference, I should say a 2-chorus solo. The difference between a 1-chorus solo and a 2-chorus solo is that you don't want to tell the same story twice. A 1-chorus solo is, we know that's a story, and you got the lyrics and they tell their little tale, and then the next chorus has a new idea. The same thing when we solo. I don't want to just play the same solo 2 times with a slight variation. Why bother, right? Just play 1 chorus and get out, right? So if I tell a two-chorus story, I have to take it somewhere. I have to add to the story. And I can add to the story by adding notes, but we really don't have that many notes to add. We're using a very small part of the neck. So I look elsewhere. Instead of going wide, I'm going to go deep and say, how do I build intensity? Well, I can use repetition. This is something we really haven't talked about that much. But taking a single idea, right? Sort of working a set of notes over and over again creates sort of a building of tension, a building of energy. And so without varying the melody all the time and constantly moving through the scale, I sort of focus and I lay down a very consistent idea. And by repeating it, I make it feel more important. It's like I'm saying, listen to this. I want you to hear this idea right now. By playing more notes, not moving up and down the scale, but playing, in other words, filling the space, right? At the beginning of a solo, leave lots of breathing room. Yeah. Okay, right? So I'm letting it air out, and as a result, it feels kind of relaxed. Each phrase is very distinct. As the energy builds, constant triplets, I'm laying down a much stronger, energetic kind of phrasing. I'm digging in harder, you know. So that's how I develop a sense of direction in the solo. The first chorus, and this is a typical structure for a longer solo. First chorus is kind of relaxed and open. The second chorus, you start to build the density more, you dig in a little bit harder, and use more repetition. So I'm going to give you an example of that, and this is something that I'll write out for you so you can refer to it as kind of a guide. And then I want you to, after this is all done, I want you to send me a solo of yourself playing two choruses of blues, and you can use any rhythm track you like. You know, we've been working in A and G most of the time. Pick one and show me how you're organizing your ideas and how you're incorporating these techniques so that your playing is more expressive, you know. And you don't have to think too hard about it. Just use what you've built up so far, what feels comfortable within your control, and make the most out of it. That's really what it's all about. Okay, here we go. All right, that had everything but the kitchen sink in there in terms of the bends, the vibrato, the slides, the dynamics, you know, all the other kind of legato techniques and so forth. That's kind of the deal, you know. You put those ingredients together and you're like a chef. You say, well, I'll use a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I like this flavor more than that flavor, you know. And that's how you construct a style. And the best way to sort of make it gel quicker is to listen to players that have a good sound, a good concept, and you just steal their licks straight out. Just take them, copy them the best that you can. And in the process, you'll find, probably like every other player that's come before you, is that it's nearly impossible to copy somebody else's sound identically. But in the process of trying, that's how you discover your own sound. Because the point is, you get down to the level of detail and you realize that that's where the action is the intimate qualities of touch. So I look forward to hearing your solos. Send me a 2-chorus solo that mixes up these ideas in any way you feel is appropriate. And let me take a listen. We'll talk. All right. Have fun with it.